wheels. Alright, looks like we're good. So, I'm going to go ahead and continue to tear down the rear axle. And then I will rebuild the rear axle. And we can go from there. Keep these together. Keep track of what pieces I am using. This was part of the anti-roll bar. These were on the back. These need to go for now. Alright. So all of that went together. Okay. Okay, let's see. I can probably start taking all of this out now. Alright, and this piece should just come right off the top. Okay, we can take all that apart after a minute. Let's get all this taken off really quick. Okay, so that should be, the rest of this should be fairly easy to tear down. But right now, I'm just taking all of this apart so that I can then rebuild. And I believe if I take that out, this whole assembly will come out perfect. Okay. Oh, dropping pieces. Alright. We're getting to almost completely torn down. Okay. Alright, this should be good enough to at least build the housing right now. And I can walk you through that portion. So, it's a 7x11 beam frame. You're going to need 8 of these pieces. And they will go on the 7 side. You're going to want to stick them through these 4 holes. And you're going to do this twice. Again, be sure to make sure you're doing them or putting them through these holes and not the side ones, because we will need to use these later, but these are okay. So I will go ahead and get the second one done. Alright. Once that's done, you'll need 4 of these 1x3 pens. Like so. And then you'll need 4 of these. And these will go around on the out. Just like that. And then you'll get this piece and set it down on top. My OCD is getting to me, so I'm actually going to redo this. There's little openings right here that are not present on the other side. I like to have the openings towards the inside. It makes 0 difference to the actual build, but my OCD prefers a cleaner look. Once that's done, the next portion would probably be the easiest way to do this. So you'll need 2 of these, and these pieces, you'll stick it through, and because it has a stopper, it won't go all the way through. And so it should end up looking like that, with 1 stud sticking out, and then you can go ahead and put a 1x3 half piece over it. I'll go ahead and do the same to the other side. So we should be here. Okay. Once that's done, we can probably build the center housing for the differential. So the first piece is going to be one of these. And then you will take 4 of these. You'll need 4. And 2 1x3. And you'll end up with something like this. And then you'll need 2 of these. Now make sure that the holes are on this side. This is incorrect. You want the side to look like this. Okay. And you'll get 4 of these pieces. The 2x1, one side's a pin, one side's an one side is one side's a pin, one side's an axle. You'll put these in the top. And then going across, you will put on more half stud 1x3s. Like so. Next thing, I'm assuming you already have the differential put together. It's 5 gears inside of here. You're going to get a 1x6 stud. Put it in like that. It's going to go through there. The other side of a differential, no differential on it. Just stick it on. And then a half stud. I believe that's a 12. 12 tooth half stud bevel gear. And then a connector, axle on both sides. Again, my OCD is driving me crazy, but should have that. And once that's done, that'll basically be housed in there. We can set that aside for right now. Believe I have made a mistake. We need to put these 4 together. I'm throwing stuff now. Very sorry. Alright. Once those 4 are together, we'll just take the top one off. I done made a mistake. Not in the center two, but on the outer. Like so. Okay. Like that. And then you should be able to just slide this back on. Like so. Alright. Now that that is back together. It's mistake number one. Hopefully I don't make any more. Once that's done, we'll get another one of these pieces. This is going to go into the back. And it should end up looking like this. Now you can alternatively use these with the stopper. I just prefer to have those. Makes it a little easier for me if I need to grab it. I could just grab pliers and pull it out instead of trying to push it. But you could use these if you want to. Not necessary. Alright. Once that is done, you've basically got the framing done except for this right here, which we can go ahead and take care of. You'll need another one of these. And instead of the 3, you're going to use the 4 with the stoppers. So that you should have all of these on one side and the top should be relatively clean. And then on the bottom here, you're going to put in some of these, again, half stud 1x3s. Okay. Once that is done, we can then grab the center differential. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it should look like this. And before we put that on, we need to put these pieces on, like so. Oh, I messed up. Alright, so these do go on. This gets put on underneath. There we go. And then you can start putting these together. So that is the bottom of this put together. This is done. And we can start working on the top. These 2 length axle, 1 length pen, they are 3 studs long. You'll need 4 of these. Put these into the top. Okay. Took out the wrong ones, but same piece doesn't matter. Once that's done, do the same as you did on the bottom. 1x3s to frame it. Alright. Once that is done, you're going to need a few additional pieces. Alright, first we're going to start this 1x11 flip-flop, or crisscross, whichever you want to call it. And these 1x1/4 stud will need to go in like so. And then once that's done, 1x3 pens go in like this. And then the 3x5 L's need to go on this, like so. And then you'll need 2 more of these and a 1x3. Oh, I'm pretty sure it was one of those that just fell off, so I will find it later. And anyhow, 1x3 pen, that's going to go right through the center. And you should end up with this. And this, you need 2 more 1x7s. Put those down like so. And then we're going to put this right on here. Okay, once that's done, you're going to go and grab 4 of these 1x3 pens. Start putting this together. And then 4 more for the other side, so you'll need a total of 8. Okay. And now you should have this monstrosity, or brick, of Legos. Once that's done, you'll need 2 1x3 and 4 of these 1x2 black pens. And you'll basically be creating this. And it's going to slot in right here. You do the same thing on the other side. Once that's done, you can go ahead and put the carton, ball, and cups through. Make sure they spin. If there's any resistance, there's a problem. So, but otherwise, should be good. Alright, once that is done, I guess we can work on the upper portion. So you're going to need a total of 6 of these 2x3 pieces. And again, 3 stud, 2 axle, 1 pen. It's going to go in through the back so that it looks like this, and then onto here. So you want the axle side facing out, and then you grab a 1x3 pen, put it through. And you can do that here, 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 and here. So I will go ahead, get all the pieces that I need for this. And this one will go here. You want the pen portion of that piece going into the red L, and then the axle piece sticking out. Okay, and one more. So you should end up with this. Okay, front, back. Next, this is the part that is going to be fairly tricky. And the reason for that is you want to make sure that when you get this in, it's on this top hole first, not the middle, the top hole. Then you're going to come through from the other side. Oh, I did it the wrong way. Push this one down all the way. Let me take these off. Another mistake, that's 2. Alright. So this is going to come in from the bottom. Be on the bottom one, not the middle yet. The bottom, this is the back side. Flip it over. And then you want to get this one lined up with the top. Now, to do this correctly, you need to just barely move this red gear. You're going to have to push it 1 tooth in. And once it's in, there should be a little bit of sliding. You should be able to play with it a little bit. But once it's in properly, you'll then remove this pin without pushing on that gear, and then slowly push it into place. And both gears should be lined up. I did it improperly, so I'm going to try it again. Okay, this gear, I need to 1 tooth. There you go. And if you did it properly, should be almost no resistance. I went 1 too far that time. What is happening? Alright, let's try this one more time. Okay, push this through. There we go. So that's how it should sound. What I normally do is I put my middle finger on this when I remove it, put some tension, and then slowly remove that pin to push it into place. 1 and 2. Alright, there we go. So now we've got that all taken care of. So the drivetrain portion of this is basically done. Let's see. Okay. You can remove that. That gear's not going to go anywhere. It's basically locked in now. And then I'm going to go ahead and put these framing pieces back on. Now the center core is effectively done. We'll go ahead. These are the frictionless 1x3s. They go in the bottom. So you'll need to do that on both sides. It looks something like that. Okay. Now we can start putting some of these on. First, we'll take 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the first portion done. Now we will need to go through and build these. So I will go ahead and disassemble this and then put them back together. I'm only going to do one, and then you can just do it twice and it'll be fine, because they are symmetrical, so it's not a big deal. All right. So I'll try to somewhat organize these so you can see what pieces you will need. So the first thing is the hub. The top of the hub, you're going to put a 2x1. One side's a pin, one side's an axle. And then the flip-flop, one side with an axle hole, one side with a pin hole, like so. Okay. Next, we're going to actually build the bottom wishbone. And so you will need 3 of these, and then 3 of the pieces that fit inside. Like so. Alright. And you're going to do the first, second, and last. So that is your bottom wishbone. The top wishbone is a little bit more complicated. So 1x3 with stoppers on the second to last hole. Flip it over. And then you're going to put the half stud 1x3s like so. And then the half stud 1x4s. And the half stud 1x3s. And the half stud 1x6. And the other side, you're going to push the 3s with stoppers, 3 length axle or 3 stud axle with stoppers. So it should look like this. And that is your top wishbone. Okay, so we've got the 2 wishbones done. Now, the next portion, you're going to need 4, the 1x5 half stud with pinholes. And 2 of these L pieces with axle connectors, not axle hole connectors. 2 of these. Oh, dropping stuff. And then 2 1x2 axles. And so the first step is doing this. And you do that twice. And the next step, so you're going to make 2 of these. And then make sure that the holes are the same way. Like so. Now, once that's done, you're going to grab your bottom wishbone. And you're going to put it into the L's, like so. And then the hub, you may have to finagle it a little bit. Might be easier to just take one side off and then put it in like so. And you're going to push down onto it. So you've got this. Now, to lock it into place, you're going to grab 2 of these and put it right in the middle of those 1x5s. Like so. So now, that hub cannot move up or down. It is locked in place. Once that's done, you grab the top wishbone. And I'm OCD, so I like to mirror these things. Which means I need to do this one this way. Now, if you don't care about it being mirrored right here, not a huge deal. However, you will need these pieces mirrored. These 1x5s with a stopper, the axles, these will need to be mirrored. That's for maintenance purposes. And anyhow, once you've gotten to this point, you've got your wishbones basically done, and your 4 1x3s, set those to the side, and grab this again. Now, we're going to need to build this piece, and we'll need to have these 2 pieces. But first, I need to get this set up so that we can get all of this put in. So, we'll grab the wishbone first, and again, this is the back. These, when it's set up, you need this piece going towards the back. So when you push them out for maintenance, if you need to do maintenance, you push it out the back. Makes it much easier instead of trying to push it in towards the vehicle. So first, 1x3 on like so, and it goes right on top of that frictionless piece. And then you're going to do the same on the other side. And now, the bottom wishbone has been connected. That is done. Next, we need to get the other cardan ball and cup. Push it through here. 1x2 axle. You put it together like so. Okay. Now, I prefer to do this one side at a time. It just makes it easier. The next step, we're going to put this wishbone down. Grab a 1x5 with a stopper, again in the back. You're going to push it through, but not all the way. You're going to leave that middle portion open. This is where this other 2x1 little triangle piece comes in. You're going to stick it down to where that axle goes through right there. And then push it all the way through, and that piece should move back and forth. You're going to do the same thing on the other side. The bottom wishbone connected. Cardan ball and cup. 1x2. Push it down. Not quite all the way through. Last 1x3. And then it's going to go through like that. So now you've got your top and bottom wishbone put together. You want to give it a little spin. There should be a little resistance. If you make it perfectly straight, there should be almost no resistance. Alright, next we're going to go through and build this piece. So I will go ahead and tear it apart. Alright. So you've got 2 1x15s with you had a 1x15 with 2 1x2 pens, not in the last one, but the second to last. It'll be mirrored. And this next one is a 1x11 flip-flop. Put the blue in like so. And that's done. Now I do need to make sure. No, it is incorrect. It is the middle. So not the middle, but these two. And then this will go here, and this will go here. So you've got a little row. Now, underneath, you're going to put them on the outside and on the inside. This is something that was missing on the previous one. So I'm actually going to need 2 more of these. But once you have these 4 in on the top of the axle, and this is done, we'll need to make these. Now, these are a little wonky because they've got kind of a special piece in them, but I will go ahead and take this apart so that you can see all of the pieces that need to be in here. All right, so first it's 4 of these, 2 of those, 2 of those, 4 1x4s, 2 1x3s, pens with friction, 2x1 pens without friction, 3x1 pens without friction, and then these little like lightsaber parts, or I don't even know what you would call these. They're 1x3, but they fit inside of these axles, like so. So the first thing we're going to do is grab this 1x3 pen there, then this, and then this. And then you'll grab 3 on one side, put it together. Now it's going to be a little friction trying to get it in. You're going to have to push pretty hard, but that'll be one side. And then instead of duplicating that, you're actually going to mirror it. So once that's done, just mirror the other side. And again, you're going to have to push kind of hard on those, but that basically makes it one solid piece. All right. Now, once that is done, you should have those 2 pieces mirrored. Okay. Now, from the bottom, you know to push these up and through. So, and then you're going to want to go and put the 1x3 half studded plates on there, like so. Now, once that is done, oh, now I know I didn't have those in there. So no, I didn't need those extra 2. It wasn't a mistake. Although, to reinforce that, I might actually want to make these a 3. So, instead of the 1x2s, you're actually going to make it a 1x3, and you're going to remove the 2 that you had in there. So, upgrade. Cool. And this should just drop down right on top, like so. Okay. So now, you've basically got that set up. And before you can put the suspension pieces on, because it'll just pull it back out, we need to get the rest of this framed in. So, this, if you haven't already created it, pneumatic shock filled with water, put a hard spring on it. This basically acts like a damper. You'll need 2 of those, and then 2 soft springs. You can upgrade them to hard springs if you make a heavier body or whatever. But anyhow, we need to make 2 of these. So it's just these 2 pieces with the red 1x2. You can use the black ones if you want. 1 and 2. Once those are done, you'll need to make these. So again, we'll go through like so. You know what? I should probably make these all the same color. So let me swap those darker gray ones out for the lighter gray ones. Okay. Alright. Now, once you have those 4 pieces done, set those 2 aside for the moment. We're going to take care of the rest of these. Set it on its side. Pop the rest of these 4 on the ends like so. Alright. Now, you can go ahead and grab a 6 length axle with a half stud bushing and push it up through the bottom. Make sure that it is flush. Do the same thing on the other side. And then on the back here, you'll get 5s. And then these pieces will go on top. Push it down to where that axle is flush. Alright. Now that we have the framing for the anti-roll bar on, we can go ahead and start putting these pieces on like so. So before we do that, now we can grab the suspension pieces. Again, this... Oh, I messed up. How many mistakes am I going to make? Okay. So the underneath... Oh no, that is the back. Okay. Okay. So, small mistake. Easy fix. This piece comes off. And does a 180. Alright, mistake number 3. Okay. Let's try this again. Yes, that is correct. Okay. So let's get these suspension pieces on. Alright. Once that is done, now we can start this part. Goes on like this. Flip it over, and these will go on here like so. Which means I actually did this. Oh man, I made a huge mistake on this. Mistakes 4 and 5. The 5s need to go on the back. The 6s need to go on the front. So switch the 5s and 6s around. I need to stop making so many mistakes. Bye. Alright, I'm throwing pieces again. Okay. Good. That's done. Right. Now, you'll take these two pieces, put them in right here, and then these 1x8s with the stoppers will go all the way through. Alright. Now that that's done, we get the suspension set up. Take 2 of these, and this is going to be a little awkward, probably a little difficult, but the way that I like to do it is grab a 1x5, put it in like so. Did it the wrong place again. All the way at the very end, you want to get both of those in line. Rotate it just a little bit, 1x4 with a stopper, and push it through. So you should have the first bit of the suspension done. Now, this side becomes a little bit more complicated. You'll need one of these pieces with a ball joint on one end. The ball joint needs to face the center of the axle. 1x5 goes through, and you end up with something like that. Man, I messed this thing up again. How many times am I going to do this? Okay. This goes out here. Goodness. If I could stop making mistakes, that would be awesome. So it should occupy the middle here, not the last one. You should have a stud on each side or an opening on each side. Alright, we're going to try to do this again on the other side. I'm much better at building than I am explaining this stuff. I am so sorry for all the mistakes I'm making. But, that side done. And put that through there. And now, the suspension is done. Give it a little twist. Perfect. Alright, now we can work on the anti-roll bar, which is this right here. Alright. So it's 3 of the 1x3 connectors. You're just going to put 1x2 axles in and connect them all together, like so. And then once that's done, man, if I could stop throwing pieces, it'd be great. Oh, there's that piece that I dropped earlier. Put that back. 1x3 goes in the bottom, like so. And then the last two connector pieces go on the outside, like that. And I have made a grave mistake. Alright, 1x11. Two 2x1 studs, 3x1 studs with one of the single studded beams, like so. And hopefully you can just slip it in the back. You cannot. Okay. Should be able to just take those pieces out. Now it should be able to just slide in. There we go. Okay. Alright, so now you've got partial anti-roll bar put together. Make sure it spends, should be very little if any friction on this. Alright, now we need to build these. And these are mirrored parts, so a little bit difficult. Okay, so 1x9, 1x3, flip-flop 1x7, flip-flop L 3x5, 2 1x3 pens, 9 of the 1x2 pens, and another one of those like lightsaber pieces. It was green earlier. It's 3 studs long, and it fits inside of these. So you'll need 2 of those. But first one, the 1x7 is going on its side. Those 2. And this will hang off the back. So it should look like that. And this can go on here. So it should look like that. And then once that's done, you get 1x2 pen there. Stick the little lightsaber piece in it. There, 3 should go on. And then these outer 3 right here will each get one, like so. And then if you flip it over, here and here. I have another, I made a mistake. So it should be blue, blue, black, or 3 length pen, 3 length pen, 2 length pen. You should end up with this. And then you should mirror that. So you should have basically a mirror between the 2. But same process. Alright, once that's done, let's set this over here. This little nub right here is actually going to go in right into here. So like that, but on this side. And then these these pins should go in like so. And you're gonna have to give that a little push. I usually just get my pliers, push it down a little bit. And the other one should go on this side, like so. Well, it'd be better if I wasn't breaking stuff. Okay, make sure these are obviously out of the way. Next, I'm going to make 2 of these. And when you put them in, these pieces need to be down. You put them in. I like to do it vertical just so I can see both of these. Vertical relative to the axle. And then you'll rotate it 90 degrees. Push that together. So now, any roll bar should be somewhat functional. And I just push these pieces down. Yikes. Okay. That is the entire rear axle built and put together. I'm just going to give it a test really quick. Very good. All right. Rear axle is now done. Oh, no, it's not. Just kidding. You need 4 more of these pins. And then you're going to go here. Like so. Now the rear axle is done. All right. Next is going to be kind of the base plate. There's 3 identical pieces or sub-assemblies, and then a few of them are kind of like one-offs. But let's get this all out. All right. Put these over to the side really quick. All 3 of these are the same, so I'm going to show you how to build one, and just you need to build 3. So you will need a total of 16 of these blue 1x3 pens. A 11x15 beam frame. 2 1x9. And I believe it's 16. Yes. 16 1x2 black pens. And then 3 of these 1x11x3 plates. Alright. So first, you're just going to put it in the first, and then you're going to alternate holes all the way down, like so. Connect the other plate, and then you're going to do that again. And put the other plate. So that's the first step. Next step is you're going to alternate every hole here. You're going to start 1 in. Again, you should use 4 of these. Should end up looking like so. 1x9 goes on the end. Do the same thing on the other side. Once that's done, it's going to drop inside the frame. Now, you're going to do all 5 on the outside. And the center 3 on the longer sides. Shorter sides get 5, longer sides get 3, and the 3 go in the center. Alright. Once you have all 3 of those, you're going to need these 4 sub-assemblies, so we can build those. The first one, you need a 1x15 1x15 beam, 6 1x3s, 4 2x1 black studs, or the pens, and 8 of the 1x3 blue pens, or black if you have them. But anyhow, you're first going to want to get it set up like this, and then the 3s go in the center and on the end. Look like that. And then these 4 pins are going to go into the only remaining open slots on the outer 3s, the 1x3 beams. So that's the first one. You can set that aside. Second one, 3x15. Or, I'm sorry, a 3 1x15. And you're going to need a total of 8 of these 1x3 blue pins and 4 of the 1x2 black pins. So basically you get it set up like this. 3, 5, 3, or there should be 3 holes, 5 holes, and 3 holes. Put them together. And then here you should do the next, or the most, these two. Skip a hole, pens, and where you put the black ones, you should put the blue on the other side. So it should look like this. Okay. Now, once you finish this piece, you can just put it into 2 of the frames, like so. And then we can set that aside. So now we've got these 5 things done. Next. Next, we're going to create these 2. They are very, very similar. However, this last piece is over here. So we'll get this one taken care of first. So you're going to start with the 5x11 frame piece. You're going to need 8 of the 1x2 pens, alternating holes like so. 1x15, you need 2 of them, 8 more of these pens, and it's just going to go right in the center. Should end up looking like that. Again, it's empty, filled, from the outside on both sides. Next, you're going to need 8 1x3 pens and 4 1x5 beams. What you want to do is outside 2 sticking up. You don't want that one to go all the way through. So you have this, and then you put this piece on top, and that's what you're left with. You're going to do that twice, or technically 4 times, because you'll need to do it for the other one as well. And we'll go in like so. Now, this one is the exact same from here over. But instead of adding this 1x15, you're just going to grab 4 of the 1x2 and put them in like so. Once that's done, you can come back to this. The one that has the 2 1x15s goes on the back. Like this. This piece will end up going here in just a moment. This piece will go there. And then this piece goes on the front. Messed it up. Alright. So this is basically the skid plate for the bottom of the chassis. Once this is done, you can put these pieces to the side with the rear axle. Alright. Now that you have the rear axle and the skid plate done, we can build this. So I'm going to go ahead and take this apart. Alright, how am I going to organize this? Alright, once I get this torn down, we can then go ahead and rebuild it. Alright, so now, I think this is pretty much torn down. I guess I could take these apart. Okay, so 7 by 11 beam frames, 1 by 7 flip-flop beams. One by 3 pins. We'll need to go through like this. And then this will go on one end. This will go on the other. And then you just duplicate that on the other side. Like so. And then you'll need 2 of these assemblies, and these will go in the back with the gray 3x3 ones, or these back here. Once that's together, you can then put the frame back on top. And this is now the housing. You will see some damage on these pieces. It's from previous testing. Not anything to be worried about. I'm not seeing any damage from the testing I was doing the last couple of days with this build, so all good there. You will need 11 of these half stud 1x5s, and one of these 1 1/4 pins to go in the 2nd and 4th hole. Goes like that, and then it'll go into the back right there. Okay, once that's done, you can go ahead and put pin through here and get this clear. This it has a pin instead of an axle hole. This is going to be the back balance for the differential. 5.5 stud axle. You go ahead and put that in, and that's going to go right through the middle, or it's going to fall, you know, because I like dropping things. So it should look like this for right now. Okay, once that's done, we're going to build the middle assembly. So you're going to start out with one of these pieces. 3 length axles, goes through like so. And then you're going to need 4 these half stud 1x5s. Once you have that put together, set it aside for a moment. 5 length axles, bushings, half stud bushings. Get them about halfway on. What you're going to do is you're going to grab the next 20-tooth gear, the black one that has an axle hole. You should end up with it right in the middle, like so. Do that on both sides. Okay. Should be like this. Now, this piece that you just put together, make sure you're clamping it not too hard. You don't want it doing that. But this is going to go right in the center. And you want to push those 2 5-length axles in, like so. It should move around a little bit. Now, one thing that is kind of tricky is what I usually do is angle this down, and I'll put another half stud bushing in there, and then I'll just move it around to where it gets right on top of where I need, and then I will push the axle through. It should be balanced like so. So you've got the half bushing between the assembly you just put in and the differential, so it can't move. And again, this was the 4-length axle with a stopper. the stopper needs to be, in this scenario, towards the right, not going into the differential. Alright. Next, we can kind of build this back up. The 3, we'll put this in here. And you'll need 4 1x5 half stud beams, and then 4 of these flip-flop pieces, I guess. I don't know. But the back, do this. And so you should end up with this. You need 2 of these. Okay, once that's done, push that through, and then you'll need 2 5s. Don't push it all the way through yet. This side. Now, this is where we're going to start using placeholders. We will end up pushing this 3 pin back out. Actually, both of those 3 pins will be pushed back out. But right now, they're just placeholders. But we'll go ahead and push that through. That's done. So you should end up with something like this. It still moves a little bit, not great. So we're going to reinforce it. We're going to need 8 of these pins. And they're going to go in these 8 positions. So here, flip it over, do the same thing on the other side. Now, you're going to need 8 of these pieces. Axle hole on one, pin hole on the other. And you're going to put those on top of the axles or the pins you just put down. Like so. Flip it over, do the same thing on the other side. Alright, now at this point it's still symmetrical top and bottom, but you need to make a decision on which side's going to be the top, which side's going to be the bottom. It really doesn't matter, just as long as you know which side's top, which side's bottom. For the bottom side, you're going to want to get 5s, 1x5s. And up top, going to push a 7 through on this one. Like so. And then a 9. Here, you're going to push that 3 back out. And you should have 1 on each side. These are 9 length axles. You're going to push that 7 back out once it's in place. It's just a placeholder. Okay. So now, this is the bottom. At least for me, it's going to be the bottom. I'm going to flip it over. Now this is the top side. Now, we won't be filling this in yet. That'll be in a little bit. But now, we need to get the rear part done. So you will need 4 of these pieces. 4 4-length axles, and 2 half stud 1x3s. So first thing you'll do is make 4 of these assemblies, and then once that's done, it'll go through the 1x3. You want the holes facing up with that 1x3 parallel, or a horizontal. Parallel, horizontal, it's all the same. On one of these, pick one of them. You're going to get your last 1x5s and put them on like so. And this is going to drop down. These should go between the differential and that housing right there. And this is an illegal build technique right here, but you're going to push them into the axle holes and push them down into there. You're going to want to pull the 3s back and pull the 5s. There should be no friction right now. But as long as you pull the 5s and the 3 back on both sides, should be almost no friction. Alright, once that is done, we can start working on this. This is going to be the top. Now I forget which way I had this. I believe I went, I'm going to say I did this. So 2 more pins. And that T-shaped piece, do the same on the other side. Okay. And then you're going to put 2 pins inside of that. Like so. Alright, next it's going to be these other T pieces that are perpendicular with an axle hole. Those are going to go on here. And then these axle hole, like this, into here. And then mirror it on the other side. So it should look like that. Okay. Next, we're going to grab one 3-stud connector and one 2-stud connector or 2-length connector. Put them together. 1x7 goes into the 2. And that's going to go onto the axle that's in there, like so. Okay. Once that's done, these pieces put together like so. Goes into the top hole. The bottom hole is going to be a 1x3. And then you're going to get a single spacer. And then this piece, the weird H-looking piece. Oh, let me just kick that piece off. So it should now look like this. Now you're going to grab single spacer, single stud spacer, 2-stud spacer, and then another connector. Okay, and these pieces, they go in the back 2 holes. Like so. And now, your 1x5, or 5.5 technically, go in. And you just start filling up the rest of it. Like so. So it'll be 5 connectors and 4 of the 1x2. Stopper goes in like so. And this is the axle going to, or the drive shaft going to the front axle. So we can set that to the side now that that's done. This piece technically was a filler that went in there, so I'll go ahead and put this filler back in. You don't technically need to do this, but if you want to. So now that we have those done, the fun part, the front axle. If you've seen my front axle build video, it's basically the same one that is in the R8. This is the front, this is the back, so it'll sit on the car like this. But let me go ahead and I will start deconstructing this. Yay. Alright, first thing that needs to come off is this. Excuse me. It may be easier for me to just do sub-assemblies. Alright. This should be fairly intuitive. You should be able to build that just by looking at it. This one, that should be fairly intuitive. That should be fairly intuitive. I think those are all okay. This should be fairly intuitive as well. Okay. So I'm going to leave those. I'm going to try to do some sub-assembly stuff. Alright. This whole thing should come off. That was dumb. I think that was part of this. Yeah. Alright. Those are kind of specialty pieces. Okay. Alright. Suspension pieces have been taken off. These can be taken off. Alright, now this should lift off. That's good. I will probably break this down so that you can see the parts that go into it. But that piece should be fairly intuitive, and those pieces should be fairly intuitive. Oh man. I'm going to move all of these pieces off to give myself a little bit more room. The next thing I want to do is actually get that cable out, but it's going to take me a hot minute to do that. So that should be fairly intuitive. That is a 1x11 axle. So it's the only one of those that I have. I would assume that they're fairly rare. Alright. What do I want to tackle next? I'd probably take these 6s out. So 5s, 6, 7, 3. Okay. I can probably take the top axle out. Actually, I'm gonna need to build the hubs. So probably have to go somewhere with that. So let me grab. I don't use the red 6 axles, so I know I will need to take those out later. Okay. This 2 top wishbones. Probably take the bottom wishbones off. Probably take this whole thing out. Disconnect the hubs. So this is right and left. Okay. So next I need to take this out. These. All right. Should be able to move this out. Okay. And this whole thing should just come off. Yep. And then put that out. Okay. Once that's done, I can remove these pieces. Is it a 7 and an 11? Now these can come off. Bottom wishbone. This bottom wishbone. Now I can start these. This top piece should just come right off. Alright, those 4 pieces or sub-assemblies should be fairly intuitive. Okay. And then this is the same as the rear. I'm just using... Actually, you know what? To make things simple, so that it is a parallel from the previous one. So I already showed y'all how to build this once on the rear axle. So I can probably leave that as a sub-assembly. I'll take this apart. Okay. And I showed y'all how to build this already. Except this had the axle, the 2, 3, that'll work just fine. I think I can leave that because I've already shown y'all how to build this. So then that leaves these, the wishbones, and the hubs. Okay. So first, this is the steering rack. It should be fairly intuitive to build. 7 pieces. Alright. The servo I'm gonna do in a little bit. Should probably get the housing done. Okay. How do I want to do this? Any more of these anywhere? No. Right there. Alright. That's not a bad idea. Put these together. Okay. So I think the only thing I need to show here is this is the same top as the other one. That'll be an add, and then I need to show you how to build this. Okay. Hiya. Okay. So, like before, instead of using the 7x11 frame, I'm using a 11x15. This will be on the bottom portion. But you basically want to put those, I forget what you call those pieces, but did these go into? I'm going to sneeze again. Alright. So basically the frame would have gone from here to here, but I'm using a 15 instead of a 7. It's really not that much different. These pins go into the same places, or pins with the little stopper, I don't know. Then you'll need to build these 2 pieces, this, and basically just put these together like so. Now that is what the assembly will look like, and then it goes inside here. But the best way to put this together is to have this assembly, and these two, and you'll want to put them in here like so. And then this is going to sit right on top. Now you take note of 1, 2, 3, 4 of these extra pins, they do need to be there. And then this slides right on top. And gets locked in by these 1x3s, like so. So front, rear. Alright, now that we have that done inside, oh god, what am I doing? Okay. These need to go get slotted in like so, and then this will come up from the bottom. You'll need to do that on both sides. Okay. You will need 1, 2. So you'll need 3 of those on each side. There's 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Okay. Four length axle with stoppers. And one of these pieces, like so. This is the bottom, this is the top, this is the front, this is the back. Alright, once that is done, I believe, flip it over, half stud 1x7 goes on there. Now I need to look at the rear axle. Alright, so now it is important that you do this as well. The differential is, if you're looking at the back of the car, so back, front, the differential is on the left side here. So the front of the car would be up this way. Differential is on the left right here. With this, the differential needs to be on the opposite side, so on the right. So it'll need to be like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab the carton ball and cup and lock this in so that I don't forget. But you got the rear axle, front axle. Differential on the left in the rear, differential on the right in the front. If you put the differentials on the same side, the car will not drive. You'll basically, the front will be trying to go in reverse, and the front will be trying to go forward, and you'll basically just push the two ends of the car towards each other. Or if you have the power going the other way, it'll try to pull them apart. So don't do that. Make sure that the differential on the front and the differential on the rear are on opposite sides. I'm going to stress that. I don't know how many times, because I have built the entire car, put it together, realized I put the differentials on the wrong side. Not a good time, because you have to tear either the front axle apart or the rear axle. So please quadruple check. Differential on the rear is on the left. Differential on the front is on the right. Alright, once that is done, I believe I can get these. Again, these are the 3 stud. 2 of it is an axle, 1 of it is a pin. Put this in the top, just like we did previously. And the 1x3 half studs will just go on top. Like so. Alright, once I have that together, I should be able to drop in that previous piece, like so. And I'm going to go ahead and put these 8 pins back in. Alright. Give it a little bit of a twist. Should be a-okay. Now that that is done, this is a great time to put these gears in. So just as we did previously, not the middle one, but let's see, I'll just grab a different axle. The bottom, get this one on the top. Okay. Once that's done, push it through. And I need to get a 3 on this one with a stopper. Alright, so you'll put a 3 with a stopper on it on this side. And this side you'll actually leave empty because this will end up going through there. So, but we'll leave that empty for right now. The differential is in. We can go ahead and layer the bottom. Now, on the front side, so on the rear side, and the underneath, half stud 1x3. You're going to push those all the way through. So you should have half a stud on all 6 of these little nubs of axles. You're going to grab these pieces, put them through like so. And what this is going to do, and then you're going to grab these little like T pieces or triangle pieces. And these are going to go on there like that. What this is going to do is going to lock this center differential housing piece. It can't move side to side or forward and backward. It's the same as what this is doing up here. So you've effectively locked that center core in place, both horizontally, so on the x-axis and the y-axis, and then technically you've locked it in on the z-axis as well. But if you get an axle, you put it through right here. This is where you want to give it a spin. If there is any friction, you've done something wrong. Should be almost no friction right now. So if it's working like that, you've done it right. Good job. Alright, once that is done, we can go ahead and start putting these L's back in. Two, 3, and 4. So it'll end up looking like this. And we can go ahead and put 4 of these back on. Alright, so now we're going to build the bottom wishbones. Now, take note, these are not mirrored. Or, I'm sorry. Take note, these are not symmetrical. They are mirrored. There is actually an offset on these. So, when you build one, you need to build it basically mirrored either way. So, just take note of that. These are not the same thing. They're not duplicate pieces. Alright, so these are the pieces for the bottom wishbone. The first thing you're going to do is put these 2 pieces together, slide them in. On the bottom pinhole, you will push this pin through. So you should end up with something like this. And then on goes 4, like so. 2 of those. Now you have this. Alright, more of these. 2 axle, 1 pin. It is a 3 length piece. You're going to put 2 of these on one side. You're going to put a 5 through there with a stopper and a 5 without a stopper through here. And then this whole assembly is going to go through. I did it wrong. Made a mistake. Not the bottom one, the middle one. Hi-ya. Alright. So it should look like this. I'm losing it. That goes through. I'm going to make the other one. Now, when you do it, I would leave it off for right now. Because we're going to need to put it on here. Leave it off. So you're basically going to mirror this piece. You should end up with these 4 pieces. Now, front of the car. Back of the car. When you put these on, The bottom wishbone should be ahead of the top wishbone. And that's what's going to give it caster. So this piece is pushed offset this way. This one has an offset this way. So this one goes on the right side. You'll go ahead and put this on like so. This will go on the other side. Now, the ball joint connection point should be facing down. Keep that in mind. So, front of the car, back of the car. Offsets on the bottom wishbone should be forward. Once that's done, you can go ahead and put the remaining 4 pieces on of these little like U's or whatever. Okay. Once that's done, set it to the side. We're going to build the hubs. Now these hubs, again, same with the wishbones on the top and the bottom. These are mirrored. They are not, you can't interchange them. So I'm going to build one. You're going to have to mirror it. And these pieces actually go with this when you go to put it on. So let's go ahead. And because this isn't going that fast, you actually don't need these. So I will not include them. All right. We'll need that later. Okay. Actually, I'll probably just take these off without having to punch anything out. Okay. So all of the pieces that are going to go in here, I need to try to set up broken up manner to where they can kind of be seen. Actually, that should be fairly intuitive. These are the 1.5, not 1 1/4. They will go all the way through these pens, and you should be able to spin a piece on those. The other ones will actually lock in. Okay. That's done. We can remove this side. Do the same thing. Again, 1.5, not 1 1/4. Put these back together. Put them over here. The hub. 1x7. You will need 2 1 1/4. So 4 1.5, 2 1 1/4. Also, the tie rods. They need to have the one that has the notch with none of the little stoppers in there. There's 2 different kinds. Yes. So this one, no notch on either side, and it's got these stoppers. If you're looking at it from the top down, it's at like 10 o'clock and 4 o'clock. Or it goes from like 3 to 6 and 9 to 12. The ones you want to use does not have that, and there is a notch in the middle. So just be cognizant of that. These will work, but getting them into place is extremely hard because you have to snap a ball through one of these. Not both of them, but through one of them. some of my pieces have seen much better days. But 'tis the pursuit of living on the hemorrhaging edge, break and damage a bunch of pieces. It's still usable, I still use it. Alright. So the first step is you're going to take one of these, ball joint with a pin, not an axle, goes in like so. 3-length axle. You're just going to barely put it in. You grab 2 of these, put them together, and it's going to go right in the middle. You need to push that 3-stud axle all the way through. So it should look like this. And then you're going to top the outside like that. And then a 6-length axle is going to go all the way through. You're going to want it even on both sides, like so. You're going to grab 2 of these pieces. And they'll go on like that. Now, this again, part of the build process here, you're actually going to put a piece in the wrong way. Don't worry, you will end up fixing it, but it is just part of the build process. So first, 5 goes in onto the hub. Another 5 goes in through the hub. And so it should be locked in like so. So you've got the wheel hub on one side and then that ball joint on the other. And that ball joint is locked in. Alright. From here, this is where it gets a little, I'll say, fun. This goes through like so. Okay. And throw pieces. Grab one of these. So the first time I'm doing this, it's going to be on the left side. The second time you do it, it will be on the right side. You need to mirror this. Okay. Like so. Alright, that ball joint should not move. Now you're going to grab this piece with the 2 1.5. Put it on here. Okay. Once that's done, you grab one of these with the 1 1/4 and slide that over top, like so. There's going to be a little gap, that's okay. Pull it up just a little. What you want to do is you're going to want to grab your first tie rod and put that on. Push that down, and now that's going to lock it in place. That will no longer come out because of that piece. Okay, we're going to move to the other side. 5 goes in, then a bushing, and one of these. Ball joint. Go ahead and push that down. You can go ahead and connect the tie rod here. Now, this is where it's going to get a little tricky. You need to grab this piece, the U, that has the 2 1.5 stud pins, and then 2 of these. You basically need to make this piece like this. Very difficult for me to show you. I might just have to set it down. Basically, you're going to make this. And then you're going to pick this whole thing up and slide it down like so. So this should be one side, this should be the other. Alright, once that's done, you're going to grab your 1x7 half stud beam, 1 1/4, push that through. The 1/4 end piece should go down on top of that ball joint right there. Okay. Now, once that's done, you're going to grab these. Actually, it might be easier to do it this way. So on one of them, you'll grab your 6, like so. And then do the same thing on the other side. So you should have these two pieces. The red you will not be using in the final build. It's just there for a placeholder right now. Alright, once you've gotten here, you go ahead, grab your 1x5, put it partially way on there, come down, push it all the way on. Do the same thing on the other side. Partially, push it all the way down. It should snap into place. Alright, now that that is done, here's where it gets kind of tricky. I said you're going to put a piece in the wrong way intentionally. You're going to grab another 1x5 or a 5-link stud with a stopper, and on the center one you're going to push all the way through. Do that on both sides. You should end up with this. Okay. Now, carton ball and cup with a 2-length axle in there. It's going to go through the center. Another half stud width or height 1x2 with axle holes. Ball joint's going to go in one. And then from the other side, you're going to push one of these pieces. Again, 2-length axle, 1-length stud or pin. Push it through. Should look like that. And then a bushing is going to go down on top. Like so. And that's going to go into the top of the hub. And the ball should go into the top of this half stud 1x7. So that is the right side. This is going to go. Oh, this is going to go on top. Like so. You'll need to make 2 of these. All right. Now I feel like I have made a mistake. I have. So this piece needs to come off. So there is actually a stud that is between these 2 pieces. Or a bushing, sorry. A half stud bushing that goes between those 2. I don't think it would have hurt anything if you forget it, but there we go. Now I've used all the pieces. So now, once you do that, you're going to mirror it, do it the opposite way so that it is mirrored, and you'll have your 2 hubs, left and right. And now we need to make the top wishbone. Top wishbone, very simple. And again, these are mirrored. The easiest way to do this, grab the L, and in the center 2, put your 3-length pins, and you've got another one of these, 2-length axle, 1-length stud, 3-length piece. Put that in. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Once that's done, the left side and the right side, the offset is going to be towards you. So the ball joint is going to be closest to you on these pieces. You need to grab 2 of these from the back of the car, pushing to the front. I'm going to push it through. Do that on both sides. You have your upper wishbone, bottom wishbone. Front of the car, back of the car. Should look like this. So there should be an offset in this direction. So this is the right side, bottom, top. Now, when looking at these, to know which one goes where, you're going to have a lower connection ball point and a higher connection ball point. The higher connection ball point is on the right of the hub. That is the right hub. If the higher point is on the left, that is the left hub. And so you'll just get the wishbone and it'll snap in. Once that's done, when you're putting in the carton ball and cup, you need to make sure that they are aligned the same way. So there's a little line right here and a line right here. I'll actually pull these out. Same with the rear axle. I didn't talk about that on the rear axle. This is the right way. This is the wrong way. Do not do this. This will cause a lot of problems. This is the right way. You want the writing all the way across. Clean, writing. Clean, writing. Right way. Okay. Now, once you have that on, you're going to go ahead and snap in the top ball point. So you should have your wishbones together now and your hub, which should rotate. Once that's done, this previous piece that you built is going to sit right on top of that. You need to push down just a little and push that 6 length axle all the way through. Alright, I'm actually going to put this in here to do a little bit of testing in a minute. I'll get this one put on, push that down, lock it in, push that all the way through, just to be sure that that is all the way through. Alright, now that that is done, do a quick test. Okay, it's not hooked up yet, so it's going to have a little bit of issues, but if it's fully horizontal, you should have no friction issues. Alright, now that that's done, we go ahead and build the reinforcing portion on the top. So that's this piece. There's going to be 10 of these pins through each of the holes on this side and leave the center open. I believe these go on like this. Front of the car, back of the car. Okay. Once that's in place, I believe it's these, and 2 of these. So the easiest way to do this, 7, this piece, you're going to stick it through here, and now you should be able to rotate it. You want it to be horizontal. You push the second 7 through there. Okay, and then you'll do the same thing on the other side. Should be able to rotate it. Okay. Now, shocks, same as the rear. They're going to go on the rear side of the axle. And then you can get this piece and lock it in, like so. And then the spring, put that on, lock it in. Spring and shock, and lock both of those in, like so. Now, to get the suspension connected, there is an axle hole on the bottom wishbone. Like so. And it's just going to go through and rest on the inside. This doesn't really ever come off, so you don't need to have to worry about that at all. But basically, you just push that 5 stud with a stopper through. Do that on both sides. And now you should have suspension on the front. Perfect. Okay, I think the next portion that we should do is actually going to be the servo mounting point. So these two I took. I need to take those away because they were not part of the original build. We could do these pieces, but I don't want to do that quite yet. Alright. Set the front axle off to the side. And I'm going to put this together after taking it apart. Alright. So, genuine Lego servo. 4 the 3-length pins. Flip-flop beams. Like so. Okay. And then this piece goes at the bottom. Like this. And then these pieces go on here. Now, these are kind of specialty pieces. So be cognizant. They do need to be facing the same way. So wherever the half stud is, or half bush hole is. Alright. Now, you're going to want it in front of you. Front of the car, back of the car. This will go down servo like this. Sorry. Once that's put together, set it to the side, you need to add a few pieces. 7 goes up top. 11 goes in the middle. So it should look like that. Okay. Now we can put the servo on. You're going to want these connection pieces to go in here. Okay. Rotate. Alright. So once that is in, that should be resting on top. Now comes the not so fun part. You need to finagle it to where that pin goes into the 11 that you just placed. And these two should line up with the pins out there. Okay. Alright. Once you have that done, there's a few different ways to do this. The easiest way, in my opinion, is just to remove this piece, put a 6 through, add a half stud bushing, put it back on, push it all the way through. Okay, do the same thing on the other side. So now these 4 are locked into place. And we can work on the other side, put some 5s in. And we'll put a bushing on the bottom, as well as a bushing on the top. Do the same thing on the other side. No, I already put the 5 in on that side. So I will just put the bushing in. The bushing's on. Alright. So now, should be here. What we're going to do next, front, back. We're going to add this back on. So you'll need to take these 3 pieces off, slide it through as far as you want, and then put them back on. Get it lined up in the center, and push it forward. Now, from here, what I like to do is just hold it. You can let it go for right now. These pieces right here, these black pieces, you need the ones with the stopper, but not with the little stud nub. It has to be the ones with the stopper, and this is to add just a little bit of friction onto this piece. You'll need to do 2 of these. And they will slide in with the pinhole going towards the servo. Like so. I don't know if you can see them in there. Here and here. And this does get a little difficult. You'll need to put a pin in through the back. Push it all the way through. And it should go straight into that. Like so. And then you just cap it in the back with 2 more of these pieces. And then you can straighten them out. And flip it over. You can connect the tie rods. So now your steering on at least one side is done. Okay. Now we'll work on the steering on this side. Okay. Let's get these pieces put on. Actually, I need to do it this way. This piece, you need 2 of each. It's going to go into the only open hole. Like so. Do it again on this side. The result should be this. Okay. All right. Now, I don't remember. Which way went which way? Actually, before I do that, I need to put this back on. 1x11 through the top, and these 2 pins go down. And that's just to keep this from wobbling too much. Okay. Now I can get back to this. I believe this needed to go underneath. No. I think it went on top. Go ahead and connect these. So did this go on the bottom like this? I believe these went in here. So let me first put these together. I actually don't think that it matters. They could have gone either way. Okay. Alright, these need to be straightened out. And this should just drop right on top. Alright. So it actually doesn't matter which way. If you want to put the ball joints at the bottom, you can. If you want to put the ball joints at the top, you can. It doesn't matter. But anyhow, you will need the quarter stud to lock those in. So, should look like that. So you can put the ball joint on the bottom one, and then the 1 1/4 stud pin up top, or you can do it as I did, ball joint in the top, and the 1 1/4 stud in the bottom. But once that's done, front, back, this is the bottom. This piece is going to go on here like so. Okay. And then these pieces went onto here. Okay. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble with this right now. Okay, it's going to be a lot easier if you just put that on there and then put this on here. I don't know why I was sitting there trying to fight with that. Alright, once you get that little dangling piece, you can leave that. 1x15. This step is not necessary. You can choose to not do this. However, I do because of some things moving forward. It just makes it a little bit more structurally rigid. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab this. One by 15 goes on top. Put this on. Put these on there. Flip it over. And then a 1x5 through here. And that basically twofold. One reinforces the strut bar setup that we kind of have going, but it also allows for mounting points here and here, as well as these three, which we will use later. So you do that to the right. Now you're going to go and do it to the left. Like so. Flip it over. Put the 5 through. Alright. That should be good. Oh, this piece came off. Why? Alright. And then this goes here, and this. These specialty pieces again. You want the little notch on the bottom side. So it should look like that. You should be able to fit a full length beam or a full stud right there. Okay. I have somehow ended up. Hiya. I didn't end up with 2 extra pieces. I forgot 2 extra pieces or 2 additional pieces. Alright, these 2 pieces go here and here. Now you push the 5s through. 2 many mistakes. Okay, now there's a few different options here. The first time I had this going through here, it wasn't interfering at all. However, if you want to, you can push this through here and then have it running through the bottom right on the other side. But we can get that set up later. I just don't like this wire being that close to the gears, so I'm trying something new this time. Alright, so you got your front axle, you got your rear axle, you got your center diff set up. This piece does go right on top of this, and it was to clamp this piece down. It's not totally necessary if you don't want to do what I did earlier. I will show you a different way. Do you know the way? Alright, so rear axle, front axle, center diff piece, skid plate. I need to show you this piece. So I'm going to move all of this out of the way. The front axle, rear axle, center diff. Okay. Here is the not so fun part. And it's going to have to take a lot of those pieces too. But go ahead and take all of this off for right now. I never cleaned these pieces after having the off-roader driving through the mud, so it's a little dirty. I do apologize. And then these went into, yeah, because it goes like this. So I need to leave those as they are. Okay. Alright, so it's a 3x19. If you want to see the drivetrain, or you want to see the this axle, if you want to see this driving, you can leave this bit open. However, I wanted to shield it just a little, so I've got some 3s going through here into it. But basically, it's 2 2 3 2, and then 2 3 2 3, 2 2 2 2 2 2, and then a 2 here, and double-sided connector, but it is for pins, not axles. Okay, and then you've got these two, and I believe, was it this one that went here? This one goes like this. I think this was all the way across. I think it was set up like these. I need to pull these parts out to verify. Huh. So maybe it did not go like that. Did it go back one further? Alright, first off, I need to get all of these pins put in. But I left some of them open. These two. Oh, just losing my mind all over again. Okay. So no, it went like this. But I thought that's how I just had it. And it's not long enough. How much am I off by? 2. Okay. So was there another 2 in here? How did I mess this up? Yeah, because this is right. But I'm off by 2, so I'm wondering. That's correct. That's correct. Was there another? Where did I make a mistake? Alright. Well, I'm going to solve that problem by just adding a piece. Sorry? Alright. I didn't even explain how to build these 2 legs. Oh my gosh. Come on, Cameron. Do better. Okay. So these pieces are basically just mirrored. you should be able to look at these and tell where pins are. But I can take the bottom off so that you can see exactly where everything goes. Alright, and then these go on here like so. And that is your center core, center column. Alright, I hate this part, but you're going to need 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to need these 4 pieces, or 8 pieces actually. Alright, so the first step is putting these pieces in here first, sliding this on. That is the first step. And then you will need to, if I do it from the bottom, okay. And then this is going to rotate in. What I usually do is put that in, and rotate. Put this in, and rotate. So now that center column is locked to the bottom. You will need 2 axles that are 3. These have the stopper on their end. These are 3 length pens. You will need 2 of those. And then some L's. Push the L in like so. Axle on top. This in the middle. Same thing on the other side. This goes in the middle. Alright. So, there you go. So now, the center core is locked in right here. You can go ahead and push the front skid plate on. And you flip it over. And now you're going to need 4 more of these pieces that we just used. And in each of these, you're going to push through like so. And that's going into the center core, basically locking it in. It can't move forward, backward. Can't really move too much. So now we can get the front axle hooked up. This is going to go through here. Alright. Once that's on, the easiest way to proceed with this, come on. It's going to go through these 2 holes. Okay, and you're just going to push those all the way through. And these pieces you don't need anymore. Now you have 2 8s. Now, the trick with these is it's not the outer one, it's this one right here. You're going to want to push it through, but not all the way. You're going to want to leave that gap to where you can still fit 1 stud in there. And it should be poking out the bottom by about 2 studs or so. And you do that on both sides. And the 2 5s that you get out of it, you will not need anymore. You can put those back. Put those away. Okay. Pull that back down. Alright. Those, again, 2 5s, you don't need them anymore. And once that's done, you will need this and this. Flip-flop 1x11. 8 of these pens. And in this back, right here, I'm going to put these down. Now, that's where they go. I want you to be able to see where they are, because the next portion is not as easy, so you will need to remove them. But I want to make sure that you understood where they went. Now you need to get the center differential. We need to rotate that a little bit. Once it gets locked in, should be able to rotate at the front, see the whole thing moving. You're going to pick this up. Do this on both sides. And you want those axles that you put in earlier, the 9-length axles, to be popping out. And that's going to keep the center differential in place. So it should end up looking like that on the side. And you've got your axle moving. Okay. From here, you'll need these two pieces. So I'll go ahead and take this apart. Alright, so this. Alright, so these are basically the same piece. I can go ahead and actually remove this. Alright, so take your L. 1, 2, 3. This piece goes in here. Axle 3. On these two, put this piece like so. Put your L on the other side. And then through here goes a 4. You want it just one stud out. This will be the left one. This will be the right one. Put this together on the bottom. So 3-length axle in here. And then curve on the bottom, you put in these pins. Alright, so this is the left side. This is going to get slotted in right here and into the bottom of the frame. Once you have that in, you can go ahead and push that 8 axle with a stopper all the way through. And now that'll lock that in. Do the same thing on the other side. Push this through. And once you're here, those 2 inner pieces that are rotating, you're going to hold it and push that 4 in on both sides. So now you've basically locked that in. Okay. Alright, so you've got your front axle on, you've got the center column on, you've got your center differential on. We can go ahead and put on the rear axle. Rear axle is, whoa, this is 2 studs off. Okay, I need to go back like 50 steps because I somehow messed this up. This is the right positioning. So it should be like that, yes. Okay. Wow, I really messed this up. Holy cow. So I fixed a problem previously that I had created. Awesome. I love making mistakes. Alright, I probably should not live stream this next time. Should not be a live stream. I should make a video and do it the right way. And then just put the final product out, because this is a nightmare. And it's going to be a nightmare for anybody else who is trying to build this. But you live and you learn. Alright. I need to get this. Alright, those are in the right place, so I can leave those. This whole thing is a nightmare. Need those 4s back. Yikes. Okay, so this was the right length. Let's see where I made my mistake. I need to pop these pens back out. I'm taking out the pins from underneath. Why in the world? It's so difficult to get out. Jeez Louise. Where is the screwdriver for these pieces? I am very, very sorry. Cannot seem to figure out what I am doing. This is what happens when you do everything from memory. You constantly make mistakes all the time. I had an inclination I did something wrong because I needed 2 extra studs, but I didn't know where I made the mistake. I just went with it. Big brain. Not feeling very smart right now. Okay. So we got these 2 pieces back to where they were. The skid plate is back to where it was. Okay. So this ended up going. So if it's not these pieces that are wrong. I can't go any further back. That's also not correct. Because that would end up being too far forward, I think. So let's try this. Oh, that would make a lot of sense. This is the top. Well, I've had better days. Alright, before we do anything else, let's make sure that this is correct. And it is. Okay, I fixed the problem I created. Alright. So that is the correct positioning. I am very sorry to making this so freaking difficult to follow. Alright. Now I can try to put this back together. Okay. There's 1 4 I no longer need. Two 4s I no longer need. I can go ahead and put these in. 1 and 2. Okay, and then I can push these boots through. Okay. That's 1. That's 2. The 5s, I don't need the 5s anymore. Okay. So now the front should be connected. The front is connected. Good. Alright. I need to just explain that piece in a moment. I'll need to... Actually, it'd probably be best if I did it now. Oh, I need to put those pieces back in. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'll go ahead and connect this. Oh. Okay. Cool. Center differential is in. Yeah, let's put the rear axle on. So the rear axle should now go on very easily. Fives. These are gonna go again in the middle. Same with the front. However, the difference here now is these 6 axles that you had in the corner. Come on, focus. Is here and here. You're gonna push those until they pop through the bottom. Should see a little nub right there. Let's push it back through. You just want it all the way through. So it'll be flush with the bottom here. Oh my god. Alright, well, it'll be flush here and here. And that's the 6 from here and here. Hey, it's starting to look like a car. Alright. Those two tools, this stays over here, but this goes over there. Alright. Ugh. So there's two different things I need to do. I need to explain this piece first. Okay. That's one side. Alright. So again, these are going to be mirrored pieces. First one, like this. 2 studs away. Put that in. And then one of these pieces. That goes on, and then one of these, like so. Now, once that's done, you need to grab one of these, more of these lightsaber pieces. You're gonna push it in here, like so. You're gonna get smacked on the table a few times. You put one of those on. And then on this side, same piece, double pinhole, 2 pins. That's gonna go on this side, right here. And then this will go through like so. So now you should have that in here. You should see the 2 green pins. No, stop, don't do that again. Cameron. Alright. So, it should be like that. 3 length axle. Just going to go through that. Like so. And then this sneaks in there. Oh, wrong side. How in the heck did I manage to mess this up too? Okay. Alright. So this is basically the piece that's going to go through that. You need to take one side off. Take it out. And then push it back through. I'm losing my mind. Okay, so you get that side on, and then it'll connect down here to this. Alright, now that shouldn't be a compression problem anymore. I need to fix this. And I need to get that done. Okay. Now that you have that done, you'll need to build this. So 2x1, 2x1. Okay, this is the right side, and so the left side will go on here. And this will go on here. Alright. Okay. Make sure these pins are in here. Alright. Now, once that is done, we need to start working on this. So we'll need, I believe, it is 2 7s. 1 to 2. And I forget exactly how this is done, but I believe these pieces go over this. And then I believe you get 2 more 4 by 2 L's. And then pin here, and that'll go right in to that. I'll show you from the side here. So you had 1 here and 1 here, and then you'll do the same on the other side. 1 here and 1 here. Oh. Why do you keep doing this, Cameron? You know it's not structurally sound. And of course that came out. Okay. Another day in the life. Be great if I wasn't so dumb. Making stupid mistakes. It's not that I'm a dumb person. I just keep making stupid mistakes. I mean, for those of you watching, you saw how many times that has happened. That I have made that exact same mistake. And I made it like 3 more times. I don't understand. It'd be a lot better if I learned from my mistakes the first time. Okay. Now that that is done, I need to frame this to see what piece went on here. I believe it was another 4 by 2. And then this had... Alright, so take this, put a pin, mirror it for the other side, like so. Now, I believe these can be put on. Perfect. So one side done. Rotate this a little. Oh, that's good. Alright. Now, push this through to make sure that axle's all the way in. Perfect. Okay. Starting to make some progress. So you've got your 2 motors in, you got your servo on, front and rear axle are together. Cool. I think these are the pieces for the next step, although I will also need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these and 2 9s. So, these 12 pieces is what you need right now. I believe looks like this, yes. So you'll need to pull that 7 out. What'll end up happening is it'll go like that, or no, sorry. Like this. And this should just lay down right in there. Do the same thing on the other side. Now you're going to push a 9 through back here, and that 3 should come out. You no longer need it. That was the placeholder piece, and you'll do the same thing here. It's going to lock that into place. And then here, right on the corner of this like L triangle piece, the first place that goes in, and then 2 studs behind that, another set of these will go in. And then right here. And if you ever need to get these out, you can just take an axle. I've left openings here and here. You can just push an axle in and pull those out with your nail. Or once you get one side out, you can literally just shove an axle all the way through. But works here as well. Just get an axle, push them out. Anyhow, now the chassis is together. Yay. Alright, so at this point, the chassis is pretty much put together. The next step is going to be reinforcing the bottom. So here, this one will go here, and on this side it will go here. Okay, that should reinforce that. It does. Alright, so 14 2x1 studs, or 2x1 pins, 2 15s, 1x15 frames. These are going to go in right here on both sides. Alright, that rear has been reinforced. And now, run the wire underneath, like so, on both sides. We'll basically hide it. And that's where you want it at least for right now. Ooh, what happened to this one? Should be connector side. Why is this one not? Oh, I had it rotated the wrong way. Okay. So the connector side should basically be face down on here. So it should rotate and be like that. You're just going to want to leave those off to the side for right now. But that is effectively those cable managed. The motor, I can show you that. Framing. Oh, I'm losing my mind. Alright. So this is going to sit like this. So I need this and then this. Okay. And then you're just going to fill every single slot in the middle. You're going to leave this one and this one open, but fill in the 10 center ones. 5 on each side. Okay. Now, before you fill that in, you need to grab 1x9, 2 more pins that are 2 stud length. That's going to go into the very back. Should end up with this. 1x11 flip-flop, you'll need 2 of those. This in like so. Okay. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. And these 2 pieces. First and last into this first hole and then here. Do the same thing on the other side. This is basically done, so you can go ahead and put this in here. And that should lock down kind of like that. And then you want to just tidy up the cables a little bit so that they run between here. Okay. 1, 2, and I believe it's just 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. I believe these are 13s. Yeah, these are 13s. Alright, so now you've got basically the rear taken care of. Make sure all that's good. Alright, and a little bit of twisting, but compression wise it's pretty good. Alright, once that's put together, you'll notice this lines up in the back. Just take some L's, put this over the pins. So it should end up looking like that. And then on the front, I don't know if I'm really going to be able to get in there. I'm not. Does that show you okay? So 2 more of these L's will go on the pins that were sticking out earlier, like so. Okay. This underneath here, underneath the wishbone. Alright, so it should fit right into that slot right there. And this is where it should come out. Okay, we'll get that taken care of for right now. Okay, so now I need to mount the motor. And I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, this first one. Like so. And then 2 pins. One sub-assembly, you can set that off to the side. Now the motor, you've actually got a 2-stud axle on one side. You'll need to create this. This is a 1.5 stud pin, not a 1 1/4, but a 1.5. A 3 will sit on top of that. And then this little nub will go right into there. And then leave this side open. There's nothing connecting this side. But on the top, you need to have these pins sticking out. On the bottom, you don't. On this side, it's fine. But once that's done, you then need to make this. You'll need to make 2 of these. And these will connect to the back of the motor like so. And this is another one of those illegal build moves because you have to kind of bend pieces. But goes into that 9 you placed earlier. And then these pieces all get into this line right here. Alright, come on. Alright, your motor should be in place. Put your gear through, give it a little spin, make sure everything's good. and then you're going to push it through. And as you do, keep tension on it, keep pushing it, and eventually it'll click into the motor. Once you have that done, you're going to grab that sub-assembly piece you made just a moment ago, put it on the back. It'll keep that 8-stud axle from backing out. Alright, so now, oh, I can't do it that way. That's why I had it the other way before. Alright, I need water. Okay. Well, the only way for me to do this is going to be sideways, so. You don't have to do this. Technically, you can just route the cable over. I think it looks ugly doing that. I don't like it, so I'm going to reroute it. But for all intents and purposes, you can literally just do this. It's really not that big of a deal. But my OCD is not going to allow me to survive the night if I don't do this. Well, at least the front and rear differentials are on opposite sides, but they're just on the wrong opposite sides, because if I put the cable through there, it's going to be hitting the differential, because on this side, there was nothing in the way. I'm going to suffer. I'm just going to suffer. My OCD be damned. Alright, and I can just hook these up. Alright, so the first one. Like so. This side. This is fairly simple from here. Do that twice. Okay. The last thing that needs to be done, so I do need to add a few of those other pieces. Alright. Alright, I'll try to show you where I added those in here, so that that axle hole lines up with the axle hole from this piece. And then you just push this through both of those. Take two of these in through the top. Do the same thing on the other side. Alright, these pieces I don't need. This piece I don't need. Alright, once you're here, flip it over. And we'll start connecting these up. So I believe these went in the back. And these. And this. Alright. Now we can put the wheels on. There you go. The chassis is done. There is a weak point down here which you can work with if you get one of these frames, or if you want to actually reinforce it on the outside across, you can do that. The weak point's not terrible. The compression load isn't bad. It's just the decompress this way. Compressing this way is not that bad, but the uncompressing is not great. But it's okay for now. But last check before you do anything is lift the front off and spin the front axle. If there's any real resistance here, you've done something wrong. Do the same with the rear. Should be almost no resistance. And then what I like to do is put the left side down and spin on the right. There should be a little resistance here. And I do the same thing on the other side. Very little resistance. I mean, there should be more than the axles, but not much. But as long as you did everything right, you spin it, the motor, the pistons should move. But the top speed of this thing is about 15 miles an hour. So yeah, it's about 15 miles an hour. This is much lighter. It only has 2 motors, but the way that it's geared, because it's geared from the outside. Hold on. So on the R8, you've got 10 of these motors, and the inner output is driving a 36 tooth gear. On this car, I don't even care. The outer output is driving 20 tooth gears. So reduced speed, but increased torque. And so with this setup with 2 motors, you actually have 50% of the torque making it to the wheels as the R8, but it is limited to about 15 miles an hour instead of 30 miles an hour. So half the speed, half the torque, and it'll be somewhere about 70% of the weight. So it won't accelerate as fast. It won't have the same top speed. However, you're only using two buoys, 2 motors, and 1 servo. So instead of 6 buoys, 10 motors, you only have 2 buoys, 2 motors. So that's what, 530. So 630 in motorization instead of, I don't know what the R8 is. It's like $2,000 in motorization. But anyhow, this is the C8. It's done. I'm sorry I made so many mistakes. I'm sorry that this took so long. Not great at this. The first time that I've done this. So maybe next time I will be better. Maybe next time I'll do a road map where it's going to be a little bit easier for me. Because yeah, I lost my mind a little bit. But that was my own fault. But anyhow, you should have enough room. You put seats in, steering wheel. If you want to connect it to the drivetrain, you can do some gearing through here. But you should have enough room in the front for front bumper, rear bumper, internals, engine cover, all that kind of stuff. But anyhow, I'm done. Take it easy, brother.